So in this example, I've already mentioned multiple times today that solving an inequality is exactly the same as solving an equation. So what I would like you to do is pretend that this is the exact same thing we've been doing. Pretend that that's just an equal sign. Pay no attention to the fact that it's not an equal sign. If this was an equal sign, if it said negative 3x minus 7 equals 5, just like it did on everything we've done for the last 3 weeks, just like it was on the test, what is the first thing you should do to solve this if it was an equation? Nearly? Absolutely. We're going to get rid of the constant. Instead of minus 7, we would add 7. Go ahead and write that down right now. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. You should all be familiar with that. Same as an equation. These cancel, just like it did in an equation. So now I have negative 3x is greater than or equal to positive 12. And sure enough, just like you would for an equation, what would the next step be? Raise your name. We would divide by negative 3. So let's divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, so that cancels. I have my x. 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Please do not write the symbol yet. You'll notice that as I wrote this, I did not write the symbol in the middle. This is the one and only difference between solving an equation and solving an inequality. When you divide by a negative number, the 12 was not negative to begin with, but I divided by a negative 3. Does anyone remember from last year what happens in an inequality when you multiply or divide by a negative number? Does it? Exactly. The symbol flips around. So it is no longer greater than, it is now less than or equal to. This would be my solution. I would then graph it on a number line. There's 0. There's negative 4. It is underlined, so it will be a solid dot. The solution includes negative 4. It says less than, which goes to the left. All of the numbers less than negative 4. So there is a rule to this, and I do want you to write this down. The only thing that is different here, just write this little rule off to the side or underneath it where you have room in your notes. If you multiply or divide by, and please underline that a few times, by a negative, flip the symbol. So if you multiply or divide by a negative, flip the symbol. The reason the word by is so incredibly important is because I don't care what the number was to begin with. This 12 was positive. Nobody cares. That doesn't mean anything. But I took that number and I divided it by negative 3. That's the number that matters. If that number is negative, I don't care if the final answer is negative. I don't care if the number was negative or positive to begin with. It's the number you divided by. That's what matters. If that's negative, then you need to flip the symbol.